morning, CTM. Grateful Thursday. I am so grateful. This is going to be such a beautiful session. I am so excited to be sharing this moment in time. I am grateful for it. Grateful Thursday. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for each and every one of you and the extraordinary things that we do together. Magnus was talking about the hive mind of CTM producing the gains, and it's extraordinary. It's absolutely legendary. They will be singing songs about what we did at this moment in time during the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, 2021, preparing all the way back in 2019. Nope. It's not like as if we're seeing price rising and we're like, oh, let's get up all on that. Oh, Ethereum is now trading at all-time highs. Let me flip all my stack over to Ethereum now. Right? Because if you remember and you're paying attention, it was all the way back in early 2020 that we said Ethereum is going to outperform this part of the cycle. We have that understanding of the cycle. My question to you is, if you're thinking now, because maybe you heard someone saying that someone that doesn't have maybe the same tax situation as you because they live in a different jurisdiction, saying, I'm moving over into Ethereum this point in cycle. We got halfway to go here. Oh, should we even talk about it? Should we even talk about it this early in the session? We got so much. By the way, if you're looking at the blow off top of Bitcoin, the rising tide that lifts all boats, happening in December of 2017, look what Bitcoin was doing to Ethereum up until the peak. For 4 months after Ethereum exploded up, then for 4 months going into the peak of Bitcoin, Bitcoin just absolutely wrecked face against not only Ethereum, but the majority of the altcoins in this space. We look at this together during our CTM training sessions. Every one of you is aware of how to play that cycle over there. And then it wasn't until the 3 weeks after that Ethereum put in this 200% gain. Maybe it's 250, whatever it might be in this area. You got to get it right. You can't just be like, I'm gonna change my stack into from Ethereum into Bitcoin over here at the end of April in 2021. What took you so long and why are you so late? That's my only question for you. And why are you asking people and telling people what you're doing? Are you questioning what you're doing? You got to be careful out there. You have to stay laser focused. If you're playing the altcoins, you got to be smarter than everyone else. And that's the thing. Everyone's getting smarter and smarter. Here in CTM, we continue working together to make sure that we stay on the right side of the markets. Focusing in on Bitcoin, the rising tide that lifts all boats. We're seeing Bitcoin trade down a little bit, right? 54,175. Bitcoin trading at 54,000, above 50,000, $1 trillion market cap. Broke the final repair. Let's see what happened. Let's focus on the technicals for a moment over here and make sure that we have that keen awareness that we need. It's been, if you're following CTM on Twitter, I'm going to bring your attention then over to this chart over here. But we're going to start CTM Twitter over here, pointing out on the 4-hour time frame this trend line over here. Look, my mouse is starting around the 10th of April and then coming back down to where it was resistance from the 19th to the 22nd. And then after the final repair, it broke out and is retesting, riding that line. I want you to focus in on it. It's a light line on the chart because I just want to bring it to your attention so you could see that beautiful market structure, that resistance. Here, that's where we're holding as support right now. That's what has been tested and hold it above the repair. Now let me go ahead and fade that out because I don't want to focus on such a short term. This is just a couple of weeks over here. It's an important line. That's why I'm bringing it to your attention. And it's really neat to see it holding as support, that broken resistance right over here over the last, 24, 36 hours. And, I want to just step back and I have this line a little brighter. This is really the line to focus in on, this resistance that started on the 14th of March. Look, this is clear, clean, getting above that. That sends off the rest of, let's say, the final impulse of the V-shaped recovery that's going to unfold quickly, right? Remember, as price was coming back down, we held that confidence and we understood what happens here at this particular time of cycle. So far playing out, it's a model, but that model has been serving us well, not just this week. You see right now everyone like, Bitcoin, I got to find the answer. Let me pull up a stimulation. Let me use moving average. No, we've been doing this since the beginning. We've been doing this since the beginning, right? So what's next? A break above that trend line over here. The resistance is coming in somewhere around right now, $56,700. Above that, this sends it for our test at the all-time high. Whether or not we run into some resistance first right underneath or it's a clean break up, we'll see. We have tomorrow, Friday's options expiring. Once that event is out of the way, it seems like it's only a matter of time right now, whether or not it's going to be, before tomorrow, over the weekend, or as we said, even days ago, as the drawdown was happening, as the fear gauge was off the wall, we were saying, by early next week, we expect us to be over here back towards the all-time high. Whether or not we're making a new all-time high or not, we'll play that out and we'll see. But it's beautiful to see the market structure. Look at this. This is the final repair. I'm going to make it bright really quick for you. Price trading above that is just uber bullish. Price trading above that is uber bullish. If you break it down further and you see how clean this is, it gives you very, let's say, a lot of calmness. You have that Neo vision of the Matrix, and you're able to say with full confidence that you feel like you're riding this wave, that you're riding the bull of all bulls, and you will continue to do so. I'm bringing our focus here now. This is the final push, the second half of the bull market over here. This is when things really start going. This is the parabolic move into the blow off top, right? And again, last week, I was bringing your attention that this moment in time is the beginning of the parabolic move. A lot of people soon, let me pull up Randall's chart over here. Let me pull up. A lot of people soon are going to be like, oh yeah, we're in a parabolic move. No. CTM, as we're coming into that drawdown leading into the parabolic move, was telling you and setting up, listen, just so you're fully aware before it happens. We're not here to share the news with you and be like, oh, now this is what's going on today. No, we're preemptive. We're always steps ahead, right? If everyone's catching up to us now, that's good. That's really good. But the thing is that we continue to look ahead. We have a different mindset. We have that growth mindset. It's a lot different than trying to keep up with the Joneses. Look, this is what we're focused on. We have one more wave, two more waves setting up that vertical blow off top. Everyone, this is game time. It's so important to be focused. If you're distracted with alts, please watch the training session where we talk about alts making their move into their cycle peak. That's where you want to be focused. That's a tradable event. You want to be ready for it. You don't want to be stuck in a position that Bitcoin is running against, right? And then hoping it comes back. You want to be in a position of power. To be in a position of power, you need to be preemptive. And that's what we're doing. We have everyone now, CTM, focused on one wave, two wave, into the vertical top. Everyone here is going to nail it. This is the 2017 cycle. It has more of a pullback on these two waves than on the first cycle. In the training session together, today or tomorrow, we'll be looking at the first cycle, the second cycle, and making sure we have an understanding of how this cycle, we're playing that out together. What else is going on? Good morning, everyone. Great morning. Grateful Thursday. Great. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the gift of life, the gift of family, the gift of friendship. Thank you for what we have here together. We got Bitcoin Tina. There is no alternative, right? Tesla selling some Bitcoin to test the market for liquidity is exactly the kind of things that inspires confidence in owning Bitcoin. There is a core requirement for large players and necessary to a super cycle. Everything up until this point, I agree with. If you think we're having a super cycle in 2021, I don't think so. And I've been consistent from that about the very beginning. Again, so you got to follow who's been on the right side of the trade the whole time. Consult their opinion. P.S. By the way, where's Team Randall? Team Randall, the bull of all bulls. If you're following on Twitter, this chart is being spread around. Make sure you're following Ian. Make sure you in the amount of work that takes place from CTM in the Discord is absolutely mind-blowing, mind-boggling, mind-blowing. It doesn't matter what channel you're talking about. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about, the work that Alan does across Ethereum and altcoins, the work that Brandon does on crypto trades and tech, and in the Bitcoin channel, and in the Ethereum channel, and in the altcoin channels. It's absolutely insanely great. Heath on the scalping channel, he's putting out all the work on Trade Talk, bringing the I mean, I read the comments. I jump in from video to video. The amount, it's an absolutely CTM all day long. This community is absolutely, if you're not part of the CTM training program, you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? It really costs next to nothing, and it's the best resource out there. I told Alan the other day, I'm like, look, Alan, I can't get everyone that joins us to follow the CTM methods and principles. That's up to them or not. They're being shown the method. They're being shown over a year of insane TA, how to do it, all in Forex. Translate that into our Bitcoin exit series and into the crypto markets. It's the blueprint. I can't get everyone to, it's up to them whether or not they do it or not. But do we have enough people in here CTM trained? I've never seen anything like it in the finance industry. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is brought up because of not only the work that Ian is contributing, right? Also Ted, let me jump over to Ted over here. Ted came out with this beautiful post in the Bitcoin, on the Bitcoin channel. And he's, look, I did some work, making a comparison tool of the previous cycles for TradingView, some observations, helping us getting ready for the upcoming waves, the second waves that we need to focus in on. Ian was able to go ahead and then align this from the past all-time highs. We'll have these set up as markers to make this very clear from you. Ted, and then Ted went ahead and wrote a script for us. Ted, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. And when I say Ted, I don't mean just Ted. Patrick, we got Stefano, we got Pure, everybody. Elias, thank you so much. A big hug over here. And then we got over here, between Ian and Ted's work, we have, this is using Brave New Coin on the daily time frame, and we're able to see in real time, comparing the first and second cycles. The first cycle in green over here. I'll play with the colors later. I'll make sure that we have it all pretty. But having this in conjunction with Ian's manually drawn charts is absolute fire. CTM here is ready to, CTM is roaring. We're roaring. Why everyone was out there fearful. We smelt the blood, and we knew this is an opportunity to attack. Making sure everyone was aware that the parabolic move was beginning. Now you got people playing catch up, and they're like, oh, wow, look at this 4-year cycle thing. And why is the same thing happening now that happened in the first and second cycle? And it's everybody now. Everyone's getting it right, and that's good. That's what we want to see. That's good, but we're going to stay ahead. There's no question about that. What else? So look, Max's response to this Tesla is something that I want to share with you. Stacy introduces, the situation for about 20 seconds, and then listen to what Max says. I want to share it with you.
Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. It increased in value by $1.7 billion. That's a total of $3.2 billion. They sold $272 million. Get the number straight. They didn't sell at their cost of acquisition. So they made $272 million. Of course, it made their earnings look a little bit better for the quarter. And, they only sold off less than 10% of their holdings.
All right. Well, apparently, due to the sale, Elon hit some targets for the quarter, and another $11 billion in stock options kicked in. So he made an additional $11 billion.
The reason I bring it up because it's important. If you've noticed, whether or not it was the tether, everything, I've been horse blinders, FUD is FUD. I don't acknowledge the FUD. I keep moving, and I focused in on signal. The whole cycle, right? What's important is the only thing that matters over here. Did you hear me talking about Facebook or Walmart going to buy Bitcoin? They're late. By the time they do, they're not buying it from a position of power. But we knew when Elon got on the plane and flew out to Hawaii to visit Larry Ellison of Oracle, sitting on the board of Tesla, that he was probably consulting him after Michael Saylor on Twitter told him, hey, listen, you should be buying Bitcoin on Tesla's balance sheet. And Elon's response was, is there the liquidity for that? From the very beginning, Elon associating liquidity with Bitcoin, not understanding the size of it, and then going ahead and Tesla taking 10% off. Now Tesla has the opportunity there after Elon, by the way, scores another $11 billion because of the way that he structured his compensation on Tesla, is now in a position where he could buy in and out of Bitcoin at will. And if Bitcoin does trade to what, let me pull up Ian's chart over here. If Bitcoin has a 10x in it and trades, to an average between the first and second cycle and has a 28x, and we're seeing Bitcoin trade at 555,000, I have no idea whether it will or will not. But if it does, then all of a sudden Tesla's sitting on what? $25 billion? It could take, 100 million there, 100 million, or they could do it every quarter. And for now, and then who's better? Who's in a bigger position of power than Tesla, right? But everyone else will have to be playing catch up at that point. You got to focus on signal and get away from the FUD over there. You got to think things out. By the way, just a small interlude over here. This is Ethereum versus the Binance Smart Chain, and you could see the amount of capital that is growing and the catch-up that Binance Chain is playing. Now, listen, I think that this is something that's very important and also very thought-provoking, So someone might say, well, the difference between Binance is that, well, that's a centralized chain. I don't care if it's cheaper. I don't care if it's much cheaper. That's centralized. CZ, the guy who makes the decisions. Listen, when Binance was hacked, he wanted to roll back Bitcoin. He wanted to destroy. He wanted to destroy Bitcoin. If he had it his way, if it were possible, he would have rolled back those transactions to get back his money. Do you think he would not do that for a Binance Smart Chain? Well, what about Ethereum? Well, you remember the split from Ethereum Classic, right? The centralized parties of Ethereum decided to roll back the Ethereum chain as well. Could that happen again in the future? They're both centralized any way you look at it. So either which way, it's interesting to see the amount of gain that BNB, that Binance Smart Chain over here, is putting on top of Ethereum. What is Cardano doing? I would love to see Cardano also included in this just to keep track of their market cap. It's an important signal to focus in on, still very early for all those projects. What I'm focused in on is this right here. This is the first wave of the second wave taking us into the vertical top. You have to be getting this right. There's nothing more important right now than getting this right over here. We're approximately here on this red bar. This is 2017, by the way, the third day after putting in the bottom. And you look, the V recovery, the sharp V recovery, it took 20 days to really break out to new all-time highs and then run up. We'll continue to monitor it. Tomorrow should be fun as we're seeing the options expiring. And then we're going to be focusing on the second wave and then this. And then this right over here. This is the money shot. This is us getting ready right now to get onto the on-ramp, the launch pad, getting ready for the moonshot. That's the moonshot right there. You got to get wave 1 perfect, wave 2 perfect, setting up this right here. The next 4.5 months, the next 5 months, whatever. This is life-changing stuff. Now is game time. Now you have to get it right. We're going to make sure that each and every one of you do, including the exit over here. We're exiting at the top. We don't need to exit on the way down. We know when the top is. We're going to get it. The question comes up, right? Paul's asking, listen, what Dan Held on the What Bitcoin Did podcast was talking about the super cycle. Listen, his theory was from 2019. I don't remember Dan talking about the super cycle in 2019, personally. I do remember during this bull market phase. I don't remember Dan at the cycle low being like, listen, I'm going all in over here. I do remember Dan somewhere around Bitcoin like 19,000 being like, okay, now I'm fully positioned. Well, okay, but you're late. That's fine. That's good. That's good that you caught up. That's good that you're here. And then I started hearing a lot of talk about super cycle. If he did talk about it in 2019, by the way, could you smash the like button if you're here now watching this episode over here? Could you get us going over here? We're very light on likes. Now there's 1,700 people in here and 461 likes. Please go ahead, support my work, support the channel, help other people through the algorithm, learn about what's going on over here so they can help change lives as well. If Dan was talking about that in 2019, and he was talking in 2019 about the Fed expanding their balance sheet by $4 trillion in 2020 because of a global lockdown, and this, I would like to know about that. That would be very interesting to me. I don't think that's the case. But the important piece of this question is, well, what happens if we do enter a super cycle? Bitcoin Tina is talking about, now that Tesla sold, improved liquidity, everyone else is getting on board. We're seeing it unfold and happening. The institutions are here. Is this time different? Is it a super cycle? If it is, we're going to know about it. How are we going to know? It's very easy. Look, we're not looking at the top of the cycle over here. I would like to look at the top of the cycle with you. So yeah, here's the top of the cycle. As we're exiting, understanding the top, and I don't know how many months ago that we're like, no, this is a shorter cycle. We're looking at September the 21st. And now we have Ian confirming that number. I don't know how long ago that was. It was a long time ago. If we see, the thing is that we just look at charts across all markets, by the way, whether or not we're looking at, the Nasdaq over here, beautiful structure, making new all-time high today, this morning, up 1%, breaking out of the bull flag, breakout, retest, resumption off, resuming off right now into the all-time high, holding the trend line. Yeah, we got that. We understand that. We know that, right? Whether or not it was silver, we had this line very, very bright, and it took a long time of consolidating. What happens on crypto unfolds a lot quicker than what happens in other markets. It's the nature, it's the characteristic of it. But we set up this line and made it very bright for that when we broke out above it, we knew it was an event to get involved with. We showed the couple of entries that they're happening. No, we're not taking profit here, even if we get stopped out at break even. Because this is not the goal of the silver trade. The goal in the silver trade is taking out the yearly high and then going for the all-time high, as they continue just to devalue dollars, devalue dollars, devalue dollars. We could watch gold and we know that, okay, look, gold broke out of its trend line over here. We've been watching and tracking this consolidation. Look, we saw when things got jumpy and gold broke down the support over there, made sure that anyone holding got on the sidelines, got away from the wreck over there, and then we saw the double bottom being put in. We waited for the repair. This was the first sign of the repair happening when the resistance was flipped into support, right? And now we're trading above the final outside resistance. This is a bullish event, but do you want to invest in gold right now? Was brought up to you with clarity, right? And then you could see the retest, and then we could draw on this trend line now over here as a help. We have 1, 2, 3 touches over there. Look, we need to hold over here for this to continue. If it comes back down into the air, everyone make sure that you're completely neutral aside. We got our eyes focused on it. Will brought up the fact. I saw Will, I don't know if it was on Twitter or in the comments of a live stream, bringing up that we've seen WTI breaking out here. We noticed and we drew in these resistance patterns over there as they were occurring. When price was underneath this resistance, we said until it gets above it, you got to stay on the side. Here it breaks out above it. Never a CTM entry because you have breakout into the resistance, right? And then it comes in for the retest and resumes off. But you can see it as it makes the swing high over there of breakout retest. That's the retest of this level here. Very bullish, doesn't come back all the way and test it. And then breaking out here to the upside. Once it makes the resumption off of the swing high over there, it's also breaking the outer resistance. Very, very, very bullish because it's going to run hot. Powell non-event yesterday basically just continued to give the signal that we expect, hotter inflation and we're going to let it run. When it becomes a problem, we'll deal with it. If you look at yields, they're rising in response to that. It's holding the support over here. But it's just conquering the markets all day long. It's what we are and who we do. So I want to focus over on this. This was the question that I was, oh no, that tangent got me off. I was focusing on the top. I was talking about us getting out on the top. We don't need for the market to be proving that it's over for us to know where that top is. And a super cycle. It's a really important question. It's a factor that we need to continue to worry about. I attribute about a 5 to 7% chance of there being a super cycle. A super cycle is hyper Bitcoinization. That there's never a bear market. The institutions are here. But more than that, it would be the failure of the U.S. dollar, and that's not happening. That's not happening right now. They are able to. Those guys are so diabolical. Those central planners, the families behind the central banking system. These guys are the money masters. They know what's going on. They're not ready to lose control of the system right now. In my opinion, rest assured. They will be introducing the central bank digital currencies. Powell's discussion of whether or not what he thought of basically the digital yuan, he thought it's basically just a surveillance system for the Chinese people. He was basically saying we don't see that as a threat, as being more and more used in the world reserve system, because I don't think other countries are going to want the Chinese government understanding where every transaction's going. Listen, that's debatable. The U.S. knows where every transaction's going using the SWIFT system. So that's debatable whether or not people are going to want to trade with China, understanding that they've lost their privacy. He did say that that type of currency could not be implemented into the United States because it just would not suit with the people who believe in freedom. We'll see if that happens or not also. And do remember at the time, it's not a question of, hey, do you want this new digital dollar? It's here, you have no choice but to take this digital dollar or the system fails. You don't get to make choices in this society. I hope everyone understands that. When back in 2008, when they bailed out the banks, $700 billion, you had no say in whether or not they got the money or they had to take their medicine and feel their pain. There was no choice in the matter. And he who controls the money supply controls the country, right? Was that Rothschild who said that? You got to watch the money masters. Listen, I attribute about a 5 to 7% chance that we enter hyper Bitcoinization. I think I'm very generous in saying that. I will be holding, 5 to 7% of my Bitcoin at the top, for sure, as insurance, just in case. And that's enough. If hyper Bitcoinization were to take place, if I didn't have the time to adapt and position myself, which of course I will, that would be enough, more than enough to protect me. That's not happening though. If it is happening, if in September 21st, we put in a top, if we sell, because, it's not just September 21st. Look over here. We'll be watching Ian pointing out, excuse me, when I say Randall, I mean family Randall. Ian pointed out a characteristic of the top that will be focused in on as it's occurring over here. It's that three play, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. But we'll find the rhythm. We'll make sure that we're getting out at the top. If you get out 25% from the top, by the way, you're a hero. You're going to be better than 98% of the field. But if we then make a higher high later, if we take out that all-time high, if we saw a price correct over 40%, showing us that the top was in, and then put in an all-time high, we're going to be positioned, make sure that either you're positioned, with Bitcoin with no leverage, or you're going to make sure that in the futures markets, in the derivatives markets, that you've taken a position, a leverage position to protect yourself. And on the upside, we're going to walk through it together and continue to do what we do and conquer in the markets. But saying here that we see a super cycle taking place, or listen, it's too soon to say that. Is it different seeing Bitcoin coming off exchanges? Yes. What does that mean? Someone from CTM was saying, listen, all that means is that there's just so many more options for self-storage today. There were a lot back in the last bull market. You had Ledger and Trezor, which was enough. But there are many more solutions today. Casa Holder, there's many more solutions. So that could be a reason for it. I don't know. What? So this question, I'm just gonna read it. Could you understand Bitcoin as a first-tier money like gold, Ethereum as a second-tier money like commercial bank, and Polkadot, blah blah blah? No, listen, I don't know how it's all gonna work out. I don't know how it's all gonna work out at all. I'm rooting for crypto. I'm rooting for the space. I understand what this is about, and whether it's about Bitcoin, and it's always been about Bitcoin, and it continues to be about Bitcoin. right? Bitcoin is the one competing on that stage for that $1 trillion of money supply. Bitcoin is not, trying to compete versus gold. Call it a $10 trillion market cap. That's Bitcoin next cycle. That's what it's targeting, and it's not going to stop there. Because once Bitcoin has a larger market cap than gold, what's going to happen? At that point, forget about it. It's like the floodgates are opened, and now Bitcoin is competing versus the dollar, on the world stage for a larger share of that. There's talk of the yuan first being backed by gold. How are the Chinese going to get further adoption of the digital yuan? Listen, if they start by backing it by gold, that's going to go a long way. People are going to be more apt to trade with it, and probably first you're going to see the Middle East all of a sudden starting to accept yuan for gold, right? That would be an absolute. Luke Groman, you have to follow his work from afar to understand why he talks about the petrodollar and gold, and how it all intertwines. But now we're talking about something different. We're talking about the digital yuan being backed by gold as a stepping stone to being backed by Bitcoin. Listen to that interview with Max Kaiser where they were talking about Tesla that I shared with you. Hear what he has to say about that. Follow that from afar. I've always said from the very beginning, listen, I'm a gold bug, a gold stacker. I believe in holding gold, whether or not it's just insurance, By the way, my other positions in the market are such that if gold went to zero, and it wouldn't matter. It just doesn't even matter. But if gold is repriced because there's a system reset, whether that system reset is something like a Bretton Woods where Russia, China, and the US are sitting down and working it out together, or it's more of like China saying, okay, well, we're now backing the yuan by gold, and this is our system reset, free market, decide who you want to trade with. Is gold going to play a place? I believe so, and I've always believed so. And I believe that especially during this cycle top, maybe taking a gold position over a dollar position might make a lot of sense, especially, of course, if you're trading XAU versus, or Pax Gold versus Bitcoin directly. Forget about it. That's a no-brainer. But having, physical gold in a vault somewhere overseas, if we do see a repricing of gold over those next 12 months, yeah, it's an outlier. The chances of that happening are very slim. But if they did, you're talking about being on the right side of the market. That's for sure. But eventually, are we going to see the digital yuan backed by Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin going to be the world settlement layer? I don't know about all of that, and I don't need to. I'm focused right now at this moment in time, right over here. I'm focused on the next 4.5 months. I'm focused on wave 1 into wave 2 and to the blow off top. Yeah, but Jordan, you see this pattern now and everyone sees it. Yeah, that's great. And that's true, by the way, because if you're looking right now, listen, Jordan, thank you for your work. I want to let you know that some people are stealing your ideas. I'm tracking more than 100 people. I don't think so. I just think that they're seeing it now for themselves. You're seeing Plan B in Forbes magazine. This is amazing. The stock to flow model by Plan B is in Forbes. And I hope when everyone that's reading Forbes today, let's see this in Forbes. I can't. I just want to zoom in on the chart. Man, look at what's going on. Forbes making things difficult. Listen, is everyone that's looking at this chart in Forbes today, are they like, wait a second, 15 months to the next halving? That's the cycle low. That's where we accumulate back in. We make sure we're fully positioned over here for the next tradable event where you see whatever it is, a 200, a 400, move within months. Cycle low position for the next halving. Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Does everyone see it right now? I hope so. I don't think so. I really don't. That's great that more people. But guess what? We're looking ahead. We're not like catching up to the field. We were positioned at the cycle low on Twitter. I said, this is the cycle low, right? And then I had everyone, as I started this channel through the Bitcoin playlist, positioning themselves in because the halving was not going to be priced in. But we had this conversation. Everyone knows about the halving, Jordan. Surely it's not going to happen. It's priced in. The halving wasn't priced in. Here we continue mirroring the 4-year cycle, doing what we're doing, making sure that ahead of time we continue to stay. I'm looking for Ian's chart over here. look, it's played out. It continues to play out such that we just had the pullback. By the way, the only other person that I know that's gotten it the closest and not as well or even close is Willy Woo. Willy Woo, I pointed out to you during that training session. Listen, it's the first person I listen to who has an idea of what they're talking about. You should listen to this podcast. You should listen to this video. Willy Woo, though, talking about that look, before this happened, we were talking about the shakeout. After the shakeout was happening, you started seeing everyone talking about it and talking about how this happens in every cycle. That's good. We were ahead of the game, and we continue to be ahead of the game now, focusing on the double wave, the next two waves into our vertical blow off top cycle peak. There's going to be this part over here is good. I'm preparing myself for it and preparing for you for it all the time because you have no idea psychologically what it's going to be like. For people listening right now that are prepared for it, they're going to have a hard time selling because of the super cycle or because of something. Maybe Facebook is buying over here. Maybe the ETF, you saw Alan AU on Twitter saying that in June, we're looking for the approval of the Van Eck ETF. Is that going to send off this parabolic? I don't know what the narrative is going to be. I've been telling you the whole time, here's what's going to happen. And then other people will tell you the why later. And then they sound really good and then really smart and people listen to them, right? Well, that's fine. But look, I just know what is until it's not no more. We're going to continue doing what we need to do. This is insane. This is, price appreciation. Look at the amount of time you're seeing price from a 1,000 to a 9,000% gain in 5 months. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared? Because you have people out there focusing on copper or on the Nasdaq who are like, yeah, Nasdaq. By the way, layup, so easy. People focused in on the wrong markets, the wrong timing across the board. But nice to see everyone else understanding. I don't think people are copying my work or plagiarizing or anything like that. I think that everyone sees it right now. It's the question on whether or not how well they continue to be able to see it. Or they'll continue just playing catch up, right? Jordan, the only one keeping a calm head and warning us about April. You remember everyone's like, April's going to be a great month because historically April's a great month. That's the same logic that tells you the top of the Bitcoin market bull cycle will be in December because past cycles were in December. And I pointed out to you, we expect this one earlier. Therefore, April's no longer April. And I showed you on the quarterly charts. You remember that? Not being as bullish month like the previous two cycles because we had a bullish March and this cycle being shorter. CTM, absolute fire. Thank you for the guidance these past 7 months. Thank you for being here, allowing me to share this with you. Thank you. Like, can you imagine the training that is taking place here? When you see someone CTM trained, it's absolute fire. And then you have people like Brandon with the character and the humility to be like, listen, I give credit here. I give credit here. I'm so grateful for the trader I've become, but I give credit. That's amazing stuff. That's a person that I'm glad to be friends with right there. A person of character. It's absolutely, you got to bring back meme. You got to bring it. It's joyous and it's childlike. You have to have the heart of a child. Meme, it's pretty lame and it's a bummer. People had to ruin that party. Yeah, you're right, Zen economic. You're totally right. Forget them. It's meme. And if I say meme, please correct me. No question about that. Jordan, new charts look great. He's talking about Ian, Team Randall over here, putting out the bull of all bulls, the all-time high tracker, lining up the cycles when price makes their new all-time high from the previous cycle. We could see how clean this is and continues to be our guide over here. We're so grateful for it. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ted. Thank you together for you two working together, helping conquering the markets over here. Stay strong and stay ahead of everyone over here. This is beautiful work you guys did. Ted, big shout out. Really grateful for it. And I know Ian as well. He let me know. He told me. I'm sure he's told you as well. So there we go. I wonder if we behave the same way now that people see it. I wonder if the halving's priced in. Is the next halving going to be priced in? Are people going to be talking about it? Or are people going to be already preemptive of it on the right side? By the way, by the time the super cycle does happen and take place, because eventually it's going to take place, the timeline, that's different. Could you imagine those who started here? Could you imagine how well positioned you're going to be? Because again, we don't need to talk about it. Bitcoin is going to $1 million. It is going to $1 million. You have right now, if you're focusing correctly on the last move here of the bull market phase, enough time and an opportunity to do absolutely epic things. And then you have all the time in the world here because we're preparing for it together, making sure that you're here exiting, getting ready here and to capitalize off of that 12 months, to capitalize off that bear market, to drastically increase your Bitcoin stake, getting ready for the next bull market phase, making sure at the right time when there's the most amount of fear, at that cycle low, at the capitulation, everyone's going to think Bitcoin's going much lower. You're going to have people like we did in the last cycle, Tony Vase, Bitcoin's going with some hyper BS down to $1,000, $1,500. Do you know how many people were caught on the wrong side of the market listening to stuff like that? I didn't have a voice at the time. I didn't have a voice to be like, this is totally wrong. You got to get on the right side of the trade over here. Again, same thing on the upside. It wasn't, and then all of a sudden it's very clear what's happening. And then people are like, the Bitcoin halving is meaningless. It doesn't have anything to do with the price of Bitcoin. I'm a nuclear physicist. Listen to me. We're seeing diminishing returns and lengthening cycles and people not fully positioned into Bitcoin. When we had the technical break of the bull market above 10,500, or whatever it was, but we had it with precision. Everyone in this channel, as Bitcoin broke into the bull market, was already prepared. We've been lining it up and talking about it for weeks and months, over a year. But we had the exact pinpoint time. I want to show you on the chart as I'm talking about it here. I mean, look, it's just as easy as you could be. It was a trend line from the all-time high. Then over here when we touched it in June of 2019, and then right before, then here's the halving. After the halving, a breakout right there, $9,884, $80. Bitcoin technical break, the bull market begins. You had people telling you were going to see diminishing returns and lengthening cycles. People, therefore, were not fully positioned over here. This is when you were fully positioned. This was a gift. It was very scary, the model breaking, the trend line breaking during the crisis. The crisis was the crisis, but heck, I mean, we were as calm as could be because we've been lining that up since the end of January and into February, talking about what how the virus was going to affect the markets. This was an enormous opportunity for us across the board. And then you saw a lot of people really confused. Oh, the 3 stages where you see the hope phase and then the insolvency stage, not paying attention to what was happening in real time as the Fed expands its balance sheet by $4 trillion. If you don't believe that diluting the money supply like that is going to devalue it, what game are you playing? How could you get it wrong so badly? That's my only question. And so many did. So many did, and we continue here to make sure that we get it right. Whether or not we enter a super cycle right now, where you become a hodler holding your Bitcoin through the next 4-year cycle, or you're able to make some impressive calculated moves that drastically increase your overall position. I mean, this is the difference between the big time, between the advanced trader and those that are, the salesman. That we'll leave it at that. Yeah, so there we are. Maybe Boomer Dave. I don't know. I've never. Oh, he hasn't been helpful. Ben is very educational, but he hasn't been helpful. I don't understand. It's the two go hand in hand, and that's the fact of the matter, in my opinion. Listen, back over here when Bitcoin was trading, $9,000, I'm like, I have over half my net worth, including Old Willow Street, into the Bitcoin trade. Putting my money before it unfolded, then it unfolds, and then you have people like, oh yeah, look at the cycles. They line up, they match up. Listen, you're a little late. There's no way. Any way you look at it, you're a lot late. You kept a lot of people on the wrong side of the market, right? And now we have the same thing happening with the super cycle. We'll see, but I guarantee you, if we peak in September and then go off to make a new all-time high, and we're seeing something not right, we're seeing the dollar, right? All of a sudden, we're seeing rates rising and the dollar coming off. I mean, let me jump down to the 8-hour and give you a look at the DXY. right? We see the bear flag develop, a breakdown of the bear flag, and then a second bear flag develop. You see the broken support holding as resistance, and then another breakdown out of there. Rates, yields rising, as Powell says, listen, we're going to go hot. If you saw yields rising and the dollar being sold off further, the dollar is vulnerable here, by the way. The dollar is getting close. You can see bigger time over here. Let me just draw this out. You can see this looks like, to me, well, I didn't mean to go up like that. Hold on one second. What I meant to do is this. Well, hold on. I did it again. Why is that doing that? There you go. This is what no, that's not right. There's only one way to do it, and I want to get this right. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in the line over here, right? And then I'm going to clone it. And that's how you get the correct structure. So let me do it. I thought I could do it on my own. I couldn't. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right over there. That's what and that's a bear flag. And especially after if we have a fake out and then a breakdown, this could be a massive move down on the dollar. A massive move. If that's occurring and we're seeing the dollar being sold hard over the next 5 months, and we're seeing that, not only that, we're seeing the increased adoption of the euro. We're seeing people trading in the euro. Oh, okay, this is signal here. We're seeing a quicker acceleration or de-dollarization than expected. Wait a second, are we entering a super cycle? And we'll watch out for it and we'll trade it accordingly. But going into the model and expecting the model to break ahead of time, listen, again, those same people, and this is Dan held included, they were not positioned well enough ahead of, I'm trying to find the chart. Let me find the chart over there. I'm looking at the DXY. That's why. Let me move over to Bitcoin over here, right? When we were calling the cycle bottom, and then all of a sudden over here, making sure on the YouTube channel, everyone's fully positioned, pointing out what that was going to look like on the breakout of the trend line, starting the bull market over here. The halving's not, positioned in. As people start doing that up here, you're late. You're very late. That's all I have to say. So anyway, we almost made it. We almost made it to 1,000 likes. I hope we get there by the end of the session. If you're watching this, please go ahead and smash that like button and help us get going over here. The capital gains, this is a big one. This is a big one over here. Listen, the plan is introduced. Nothing's been passed yet, or what that's going to look like in the end, we have no idea. But what I point out to you is that this affects people, right, making over $1 million or more in capital gains, which is 0.3% of taxpayers, or roughly 500,000 households. How many of those households in the U.S., 500,000 households, the 0.3% are part of CTM and are CTM trained? That's probably the most interesting statistic out there. How many of CTM trained people in the CTM Discord over here in 2021 tax year are part of this 0.3%? It affects a lot of people. We have that problem of paying taxes where we're from, and that's what it is. So that's a big deal. Any way you look at it. I know most people, I don't even need to get into how most people think. It's so twisted and wrong. And it's just, here's the problem, is that people don't understand how to think for themselves. That's the root of the problem over there. But the reason being, you got to go to, who was it? Who are the Rothschilds lieutenants in the U.S.? The Vanderbilts, and who else? You got to look at who designed the education system in the U.S., when it was revamped, and why. You got it. It all has to do with the central bankers and the central banking system. And when the Fed was introduced, you got like little small red pills. I was so grateful for branding. Let me play this over here because this touched my heart. I was so glad I got to see this. Thank you, Brandon.
If you'd have been like, all right, the party's over, let me take profit, let me get out here without CTM, without Jordan's leadership, without CTM, how many of you would have sold out? I would have chickened out here. I'm going to tell y'all guys that right now. Without CTM, without Jordan, I would have chickened out. But we've all learned. I've been watching Jordan's channel for about a year now, and man, have I learned a lot.
Can you imagine? And Brandon, I wish that I had something to do with it. That you have that type of humility. I know I don't. That's from you. You're just an amazing, awesome person. I know that's from who you. But that's the thing about CTM. It attracts these like-minded people who share these desires and goals to do absolutely wonderful, legendary things and helping as many people along the way. Brandon, that meant a lot to me. I'm so glad that it's not like you told me about it. I happened to see it, and I'm grateful that I did. I am truly grateful for each and every one of you. I am truly grateful for what we are doing here. It's absolutely extraordinary. I loved this morning. As soon as we got live, you saw 3 people coming in there, thumbs down. That's great. Listen, when there was 30 people here every day for months, Heath being one of them, we just did what we did each and every day. It's not about the quality. It's not about the quantity. It's all about the quality here, and it's a beautiful place. So glad to have you. We have a training session, by the way, this week. It might be today even. It might be today. Don't worry. If you're just joining now, you'll be able to either watch it live or the replay, or tomorrow or Saturday. We're going to get together and we're going to make sure that we continue doing our work over there. I haven't announced it yet because I don't know exactly the timing of it, but we're going to get that done. And I want to clean up one more chart before we have that training session together. I think we covered everything that we came here to cover today. A big thank you to Ted, Ian, the work that they're doing together. Everything that's taking place on Discord is absolute fire. Heath alone, Brandon alone, Alan alone. It's absolutely incredible, but it's not just them. There, again, so many CTM trained people working together is absolute. It's very special. It's just very, very special. And that's all I have to say. So look, we got it. Bitcoin right now trading at $53,000. Let me jump down to the 8-hour time frame with you. I had it. What I have it. My notes on this chart over there. You can see us. You can see this trend line. I don't know who shared that. I did like it on Twitter, and I shared it on Twitter. And I just wanted to point out how grateful I am for that look at this line you gave over here. It's an important little guide. It's an important guide over here. This is the main one. Break below this line of repair. That would be taking out the resistance, would turn support over here around 51,000. 51,000, something's not right trading below that. You got to be extra cautious over there. The possibility remains we could take out the low over here, 47,000. If that happens, we're going lower, right? The recovery will be quick, but that doesn't mean there won't be more pain on the downside. It doesn't look like that right now. It looks pretty good. We have the options expiring tomorrow. After that's out of the way, we're looking for Bitcoin to be resuming out and finishing this V-shape sharp recovery. Everyone, thank you for the beautiful day. Thank you for the beautiful session. Let's go out with some honeymoon vocals over here. I love elk. I love elk. That's for sure. So, by the way, the question is the Forex course what I'm referring to when you join CTM? It's not only the Forex; it is the Forex course. And that, believe me, that alone, you cannot find that education anywhere else. We have over a year of material of weekly training sessions. The strategy outline, that the strategy is taught in Forex. It is how I'm able to trade every and all market, whether or not you're talking about equities, you're talking about the indexes, gold, silver, the dollar, oil, crypto, any altcoin, whatever it is the mythology right there. There's no question about that. It also includes all of our Bitcoin Exit Series training videos, every single future session, every single past session. And you have to watch them all. They're all absolutely invaluable. And the masterclass, and then it includes also the Discord group. It's just everything. I know it costs next to nothing. It's okay. It's a little bit of a commitment from someone. And if you're not making, I could have like best friends being like, Jordan, you're just not going to let me in. Of course not. If you're not making that little bit of commitment, there's no way you're going to succeed. It's nothing. But it's absolutely invaluable. That's what we're talking about when we say CTM. It's the Forex course and everything with it. Got to get back to this vote. Thank you to Pure Vita, not just for the chat, for everything. Absolutely. Pure Vita, I mean, you're talking about the core of CTM right there. Big shout out. Thank you, Jen. Thanks to CTM for support. Thank you, Jen, so much. Thank you for the support of myself and everyone, of Team Randall. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, we gotta close with a head snack today. We can do that. We can always close with a head snack. We got to end this with some head snack over here. Drop in the beats on Conquer Trading and Investing theme song. You, Mark. Thank you so much.
Charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing. The prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room. Grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Throw from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day. It's a taco day. It's a taco day.
CTM getting those tacos all day long. The bull of the, I love this. I'm so grateful for Head Stack doing what he did. 2,400 views, getting up there for sure. If you got a second right now and you haven't already smashed the like button on Head Snack's Conquering the Markets video, go ahead and do that. Spread the love over there. He gave a lot of love to us, that's for sure. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for this day. Thank you for spending this time together. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Have a beautiful day, everybody.